I wanted to bring up about Flight 370 that disappeared because I was talking about it with Mary Brown. That's Pterodactyl, our host of our Monday show, and she was asking if I did a reading on that yet, and I have not yet looked at. I kind of looked a little bit at the numerology of it, but my point in bringing it up is she did do a reading, and she got some weird stuff, Ambika. And so what I did was on Facebook. I don't know if you're a professional reader and you're on our Facebook group. It's located at tarotguild.org/Facebook, or go to tarotguild.org, press the Facebook icon, and it'll take you right over to our page there. And I asked everybody to, I put it out on Twitter too, I asked everybody to let us know if you've done a reading and what you've gotten on that. And see if we can get some kind of consensus on what happened with Flight 370. We're going to be talking about it on our Monday show, on Angels Monday. And so I want to, over the end of the week and then over the weekend, I want to try to get some feedback from people that have done readings and stuff. Have you looked at this at all, Ambika, like astrologically, what was happening on that day, or done a tarot reading or anything?
I have not. I could easily look quickly and give my 2 cents if you have a day and a time and a location. I can
that would be
look at that.
Really cool.
Yeah, so
well,
can you get me that data, and I'll
get it to you.
Yeah, I will definitely speak on it.
Yeah, because that would be a really great. That would make a great post too if you did the astrology on it, and then we can talk about it next week too. But Pterodactyl said she was getting some strange stuff. She said she got that there was a woman involved. Theft came up as well, but that might have been connected to the stolen passports because 2 of the people that boarded the plane did so on stolen passports. Let's see, what did she say? From the things that came up in my reading, it does not look like mechanical failure, but doesn't look like a terrorism either. Looks more personal to those involved and like an act of desperation. Very weird stuff coming up. I'm going to have to do a reading, see what I get as well. If you're a professional reader, tarot reader, astrologer, clairvoyant, and you've done a reading on this, or you've looked at this missing plane, go over to our Facebook group, facebook.com/groups/Tarot Guild, or if you're on Facebook, just search Tarot Guild. Find our group, join our group, and look for the post. You'll see. Scroll down. Right now, it's about the first or second post. By the time you listen to this in archive, it might be down a little farther. But just look for the Malaysian airplane, because I put a picture of the airplane on there, and just look for the plane, and then on that post, put it in, go in the comments, like the post, and then go in the comments and let us know what you got in your reading, or if you did numerology on it, or if you looked at the astrology of it. That would be really great, because then we'd have a lot of interesting things to talk about. We'll bring that up on Monday's show, and who knows, maybe here on our Tuesday show, we'll talk about it as well. Alrighty, let's see how Ambika's doing. Ambika, did you...
So I found the data for this flight and the exact time that it was scheduled for takeoff. So, I figure being in flight, let's go with takeoff. That's the birth time of a flight, right? And when we're looking at an astrological chart and we want to deduce something that's missing, like when I work to find a missing child or a missing person, the first thing, or, any kind of abduction, the first thing I look for are aspects which are called quincunx. And this is a geometric pattern in an astrological chart. And we have 2 in this chart of this plane. One is between Virgo and Aquarius and the moon in Cancer, just barely into Cancer. That, to me, says electronics definitely had part in this. We've got 2 signatures of water happening. there's another quincunx between a pile of planets that are in Pisces at this time, and also Pallas Athena, which is an asteroid of communication, and the part of fortune. Part of fortune implies fated type of stuff. Yeah, I know you and I don't talk about fate that much. We like to steer people away from it. But in an astrological chart, it does come into play. I do use some Arabic points as well as asteroids. Not all astrologers do this. My first impression glancing onto this chart is electronics, miscommunication, poor communication, broken communication, and this plane ended up in the water. It definitely caught fire. That's the Leo. I think something in electronics went bad, and that in turn caused a fire, and that in turn caused a lot of it to get destroyed and end up in the water. Whether they find the remains, I don't know. I do see that things will get tied up with the law for quite a long time in the discovery of this. And, you know, it may remain a mystery because Saturn is in the 12th house in this chart, and there's a lot of retrograde going on in here. So there's some bureaucratic stuff holding it up. There's some law stuff because we're crossing between countries and borders. It'll be very interesting to see if any of that damage gets found, and we can only pray for the souls that had to go down in that flight.
It's absolutely horrendous.
Do I think that there was some ill behavior by means of hijacking,
terrorism
like
or hijacking?
Yeah, you know, it does have a little bit of that in the chart, so that could be, but you know, we'll just have to stand by and watch. I'd say there's a high percentage possibility that there was some form of terrorism involved, but at this point, do we even have a clue why? I mean, it was really
we don't.
It's kind of,
and it is a big mystery.
Yeah, I mean, as I was looking for the proper data online, I was seeing information about, you know, a suicide venture. Anytime we have something like Saturn, well, whenever Saturn's in the 12th house of a chart, that implies involvement with a big institution. Saturn's retrograde in Scorpio, that's detective behavior, detection. So this flight, you know, a lot of flights taking off at that time, and that place would have had a very similar signature. But indeed, this particular flight does have some sketchy-looking data, but that should not freak everybody out for flying. Don't feel like you have to dig over your flight. You know, you got to remember, everybody, flying is a whole lot safer than it is driving. So
yeah, I was just going to say that statistically,
these accidents end up in the news more prevalently. But you know, can I see it? Yeah. Do I see some sort of abduction? Do I see that it was handled with maybe a bomb or electronics? Yes. So, and do I think the remains are in the water? Yes. I don't think they'll find it on land. It will definitely be found in the water. So We'll see how my prediction goes.